who's here. So I saw Audra and Albert is here, and Torben is sick, poor guy. Roger has been waiting for quite a while because I made a link early, poor thing. Let's see. Nella's here. Audra's been plant dyeing and making fish soup. She got some really pretty colors. She got like this light orange or bright yellow, actually, color, and she made fish soup and dandelion wine. Torben is harvesting a cold, but he's been painting all week, and he did this new crackling texture with the base of one of his figures, where you had like put a layer of green and a layer of yellow and a layer of black, and I thought, well, that looks like an oily mess. But then it bubbled, and he's got this really cool crackling effect that for some reason made me think of Jurassic Park. It's nothing to do with it. Anyway, Karl has been gluing figures, but we're not looking at them today because we're too far away. And then Albert is putting a bed together. Good. No, he finished putting the bed together and working on the rest of the bedroom. Good job. Susan Youngman's here from Adirondacks. Raining. We don't have rain today. Take a look. Ta-da! And Raymond is here. A bit cooler weather here in Australia, he says. 16 Celsius at 12:27 a.m. That's right. He got up for us, people. But look at the view we got for you today. Oh, Raymond's been going through his mom's yard stash, mostly acrylic, but but you found some nice wool, which is good to see, and some thin mohair. You can Nalbind with mohair, but my God, say a prayer and a load of patience before you do. But it is nicer and rewarding, this nice lacy look, but don't make any mistakes. And you're making a scarf from the mohair. That'll be really nice. Max is here. That'll be a nice way to remember your mom too, by the way. Welcome back, Max. And Heidi Liseth is here. So Anders Hovla, not the blacksmith, other Anders, is going to come down and have a beer with us. But first, we're going to go in that building there. That's the Chieftain's Hall, for those of you who don't know. That's where Georg lives. And we're in Gudvangen, Norway, by the way, for those of you who haven't known. This is 2.5 hours northeast of Bergen and about 5.5 hours west of Oslo in the mountain range in the Norway fjord. It looks like a chapel from that side, yeah. And then he's got these Ernest-inspired dragons, those two at least. And another person had some carvings. He was making Thor and Odin. You can see Odin, I think, is missing an eye, if that's the one. I don't think they were quite completed, but he brought them here because he didn't have a place to put them, so they're ours now. But anyway, Karl should be inside here. There he is. You know what? You think you're sitting in the dark, but the camera shows everything. I'll try to shut it and see if it gets some more of your massive... Yeah, now you're sitting in the dark. A little too dark, though. Is the graffiti authentic Viking style, by the way? On the doors, it's the... Oh, on the walls outside, that was runes. Younger Futhark, I believe. Is that what he has on the wall out there? I'll give you a microphone.
I don't know which runes you're talking about, but...
the ones that are on the wall outside, we can go take a look real
almost
quick.
Certainly Georg trying to be educational, so I'm guessing it's...
Could be. Let's see. Oh, my gimbal is like really slow to respond today, and I've been charging it, so I don't quite understand why it's so slow today. Oops, it's not turning. Maybe it's because I have it plugged in to a speaker thing, a microphone. Those, if you're thinking that's the graffiti, yeah. That is the letters, Younger Futhark, because you can tell by the H on the end here. Holy crap, it's a rune test. How much can you read of that?
Well, all of it if I cheat. But
yeah, but you're not cheating. You have to know it from this. Okay, so you get T-A, I think. What the heck does it say? Ah, man. You've got, that's an R. Oops, that's an R there. That's also an A, I think. That's an A. That's a T. That might be an N. Oops, sorry. I'm pointing and not. This, I think, is an A. This is an H. Might be a, I'm not quite sure. Might be CK or maybe even an S. R. T. N. But the N might be going the other way. We have to look it up. Karl's probably going to Google it for you. And then he's had, I'm not not sure what he's probably doing, actually, what Georg's been doing, but these have been on the wall for a while now. I think he's showing how some people write their name in runes, because you can see when you write your name, sometimes it usually goes vertically, they would say, on a stick, and you could connect the solid lines and build off. So that would be an H, maybe an N, maybe an R. B, I think is what that was. Can't read the last one. But I don't think that's an N. I think the line goes the other way on the N. You know, I think you can try the Vorsta stitch. The pattern, the same stitch from Turku in the 14th and 15th century. I will take a look at it. We've done Vorsta before, but it's been a while. So today, it's a new month. We've got Arboga, which is Karl's hat. The blue hat, if you like it anyway. He's wearing it today too, but you can't see it too well on his head. Actually, I think you're wearing it inside out. But that's the Arboga stitch. Well, the technical wrong side, I believe, is that because it's very ridged. And there's the technical right side. Another way of looking at it is the one in my pocket. I have Nalbinding in my pocket. How you doing, Karl?
I'm fine.
Okay. So how was hanging out in the Chieftain's hall today?
No, it's boring as usual.
Nobody came to play with you?
I had some people, and I had a nice conversation with 2 old American ladies.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I'm either dealing with people who don't speak English, or I'm all alone in there.
Oh.
So I very, very, very slowly, just to entertain myself, explain the Nefertofel to people who didn't speak a lick of English.
Yeah. You want to tell them what Nefertofel is?
No.
Oh, come on. You've been doing it all day? Oh,
Yes.
I really can't see it in here, though. Let's see if we go and turn the door open more. So our chieftain is a pyromaniac. Anders made it! Yay! Anders Hovland came to play. Notice the very happy hat. That's because he's getting beer. You look good today.
Thank you.
We could sit outside, too, if you want. It's kind of bright in here, but yay! I love that hat. When Anders wears that hat in the village, I sell more in the shop because everyone wants to have one like you. Karl's got beer for Anders. I promised him a beer today. And by the way, here was Nefertofel. Now you can see it a bit better. These pieces are based on the Lewis chessmen, by the way, which is obviously not Nefertofel. That's chess, but we used the pieces to make, to play Nefertofel. They're starting to get faded out. These ones are supposed to be brown on the edge. I have a microphone for you, if you want. Do you want to sit in here, or do you want to sit outside, or where do you?
Do you have some kind of cups, or do we steal from Georg?
You had one job, Karl. There's one on my desk if you really want to go back and get
You
it.
specifically told me to bring the bear. You didn't say anything about cups.
But
So if I had that
Hovland
job
came
too,
prepared.
then I had more than one job.
show your snubble glass. That's different than Karl's. The claw beaker, or snubble glass, but yours is taller and it's blue. So can you play the beer drinking game with those too? Yeah, your snobbles go all the way down. Let's see. By the way, this was the Arboga Stitch. Oops, can't see it. The Viking way of opening a beer, I see. I'll use something different, a fork. Now that's the Arboga Stitch, right side up. Technical right side up, and yeah. And there's the wrong side, you can see the ridges. Technical, wrong side, but you can choose whatever size you want to wear.
So if
Yeah.
you enjoy foam,
You have a foamy glass. Here, I'll give you a microphone.
I really recommend it.
You can talk more than me. I have a
No,
really
no,
loud voice.
it's okay.
No, he's not going to talk. He's going to drink. But you got to really... Okay, now we've been told that if the glass is foamy, it's because why? What was Jay's reasoning?
No,
You've been
it
practicing,
would
Karl.
foam less if the glass was wet when you fill the beer. But
Yeah.
unless you're German, nobody
Yeah.
walks around and wets their glass before they put beer in it. The beer is wet, woman.
The beer is wet, woman. Okay, I'm sorry, Jay. Did you know, though, by the way, Jay Van Altengart, he's going to come down. He is going to be bringing... He's going to brew mead and beer, because I keep saying he's going to brew beer, and then I say he's going to brew mead, and then he just decided he's going to do both now, so that I won't be a liar. But he's going to come down. He's got a whole keg for keg bringing, and he's going to be living in the new big pit house for a week. All right, so you're having the Belgian beer. We've tasted this one lots of times before, the Duvel. And this one is what, like 6%, or how much is it? 9?
It's like 10.
10? Yeah. Did you find a glass to drink from, Karl? Oh yeah, you found a.
Yeah, no, Georg has like a shitload of glasses over there.
Yeah, just make sure.
I
you
just have to
it
wash
after.
it and put it back. So
Yeah. No, that'll be good. I can come sit down, but I'm not sure if you're going to be in light because you have a strong light behind you here. Oop.
Maybe.
Maybe you guys sit here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
We can go on the outside.
We could sit outside too. We were just going to show off the Chieftain Hall, and we kind of did that now. But it is nice outside at the mountains and everything. What do you think? Inside, outside?
if you want to go outside, I have to put out all the candles before I leave.
Okay, sit, have a beer first, and then you can put out all the candles.
I'll just move.
Yeah, your bag is fine. I saw. Okay, and then we'll put everybody down. There. Then I can put the microphone. So, Anders, you're going to be setting up your tent this year and selling?
Yes.
What do you want to tell them what you're selling, or do you want to not talk?
Uh,
He's still pouring beer.
yeah.
I can tell you. See that beautiful piece of jewelry on him? He's got lots, so how do you know which one to look at, really? Let's check out your boobs, or your chest. Yeah. So the chain is gold, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the chain on
Yeah.
this one.
On that one, yeah, the gold twisted one. We found out it's probably more valuable than my car. And then you've got this, the Thor's hammer and the, what is the two pendants?
Well, this is a sun
Yeah,
symbol. This is amber.
yeah.
This I got.
November.
I paid like a couple of 100 kronor for it.
Oh, that's a really good deal.
Oh yeah. It was
It's a
on,
really good deal. And then he's got all his bling on his fingers too.
on,
It's like a root beer float. It is not a root beer float. Look at him getting all shy about his beer now. There we go. Karl's barely in view, but Anders is in view. And I'll sit down. Okay. There. It's like a root beer float. Look at that thing. I have to zoom.
Skål.
There you go. Viking style. Do you want a straw?
No.
It's like right up your nose. There we go. It's not a Viking beer until it's all over your beard and mustache.
The secret is that you have to enjoy it,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yes, you do. Usually Karl gets that much foam in his beer.
Yeah, but these ones have been shaken and not stirred, so
Yeah. I'll put the microphone on the table and then you can...
Yeah, this is my first beer since December.
Yeah, yes, because you had a...
Yeah. I've been just off.
That's why I wasn't sure. I was trying to remember. Are you on or
And
off beer now? Because
So,
he takes
so
time
this
off.
actually have the aftertaste of vodka. It's so strong.
Yeah? That's a really strong beer though, yeah?
Yeah. So it's
How do you like it?
well, I felt the first sip and I got a little drunk. So
Well, the Belgian's quite happy. Now you know why Duvel has special glasses, she says.
but I have the original glass.
You do?
Yeah, I've been collecting beer for half my life. So
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
I've been to Belgium
Oops.
just for tasting. So,
Yeah, you were telling me there was a monastery I needed to go there, or some
Vestvilletan.
Vestvilletten?
Vestvilletan.
Vestbilletten.
Vestvilletan.
Vestvilletten! I can get that! Okay, what's so special about that place?
Well, they have.
Let me know, I'll move the microphone closer.
This is a long time since I was. I think they have 3 or 4 types of beer. I can't remember anymore.
Yeah?
I've tasted at least 3. It was a ruby, it was a blonde, and it was. Can't remember the last one.
Yeah?
It was dark. Supposedly the best beer in the world.
Yeah?
And
You're making the Belgians proud.
you have to
Oh.
order. You can buy a case, and you reserve it on your car plate, and you have to pick it up
Okay.
in the monastery. And you get to buy 1 case a year, and you're not allowed to sell it. If you sell it to someone, then you're banned for life.
No, we can't
So,
do that.
but as I said, I haven't. I was in
Carl's
Belgium in
impressed.
2012, I think.
Vestvilletten, she wrote. Okay.
Yeah.
Is what I'm wrote there. It's a Trappist Einbeer. Trappisten beer. Trappisten beer. I can do this. I like the foam you have on yours. It's like Viking ice cream. Don't choke. Wrong way. Okay.
Taking something valuable out of a monastery is a fairly Viking thing to do, but I don't know about paying for it.
Oh, yeah, no. Do we have to pay for it, Anne? If we go to Västfälletten?
Yes, sadly.
Unfortunately. No, I remember once upon a time we were talking about Karl and I probably needed to take a little excursion out of the country or something. This was probably not long after COVID. It had been a while, maybe a year or two after COVID anyway, and you were recommending to go to Belgium and so Karl could taste some really good beer. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to show this stitch real quick, and then if we go outside, it's not so... All right, Max, let's get you stitching. Okay, while they enjoy their beer. See how
Yes.
like that. Okay, so, whoops, too high. It's okay, we're just gonna watch you sip that in the background. I love your hat in this. It looks so cool. Like a little Nissa, like a gnome. So, if I hold it up here, maybe. I don't know how well we can see. No, I have to go down. It's gonna try to fold direct on a face. Okay, so, this one you have 3 stitches. Can you float a coin on that foam?
No.
On this one?
Yeah.
Maybe. It's quite bouncy. I'm not going to drop my rings into...
No, I'm kind of curious though. Georg used to have some coins that he stamped around here. But
No, it's too many people have touched them.
maybe they will throw it at you and chase you if you arrive as a Viking, Karl, says Anne.
Well, maybe. I'm still of the opinion that Rune, when he got together with Louisa, the Russian, she used to stay in the monastery and she left some of her stuff there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So Rune and Louisa drove to the monastery and picked up her stuff. And I still have to take my hat off for Rune because that's the most Viking thing anybody has ever done around here. Hey, I want all the stuff that this novice that I'm banging left behind.
So Runa's sister's online, but I think she's actually impressed too, to be honest. Okay, I will show this. You do know that?
Yeah,
Actually, no, he's had his whole family through the village too.
I think since he now has a kid with her, I think his sister probably knows that he's banging the novice.
You think so? Was the baby the first clue?
Yes.
Alright. So this is some plant dyed wool madder. I bought it a long time ago in Tunsberg, and I thought I had none left, and then I saw in the Viking house today that I had some, and it's still in good shape. Not a moth has hit it, or a rat. Or mouse, I mean, not rat. We don't have rats around here, we have mice. And I'll show the stitch real quick while you work on that foam over there.
Oh, my foam is gone.
Your foam is gone?
Now it's a normal top.
It collapses fairly quickly.
There's so much echo in here, so I'm sure you can hear, but I have a really loud voice anyway that tends to carry. Okay, so you need 3 loops to make this stitch. Arboga, it's also 1 plus TL plus 1. The TL stands for turning loop. So you start with a knot on your thumb, and you need 3 loops. So go behind the thumb and under everything. Make sure it goes around your thumb and doesn't take a shortcut. Catch it underneath the old one. Now you have 2. We need 3. But to make the 3rd loop on here, instead of just going under everything, I'm going to twist this one. Turning loop going from the back and then turning. Might not be the best lighting in here. Let's see, try it this way. We got to get back started and everybody started on their stitch, and then we can drink more beer. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, and then there's the 3rd one back here. Okay, this is not the best light. There. 3rd loop is right there. But the 3rd loop might look like 2 loops. Like that. So you want to catch the 3rd loop on this side, not here, but here. So then you take the second loop from behind, twist it. Karl likes the innuendos in this, by the way. So you're taking the 2nd one from behind and twisting it around. And then you pick up that 3rd loop on the right side. Not this side, but this side. Then you go under your thumb loop and under the working yarn, and that's Arboga. So it's 1 plus the turn loop plus 1. But if you get confused, it's this side, the right side that you take on the back. So the second loop from behind, twist, grab the third one, and then under the thumb loop and the leader yarn and pull through. And then I'll do that a couple times real quickly. Noy Lockentot has a really wonderful video about this if you need. I can show it again later in the light if I remember. I pinned it. I had time to go onto YouTube and pin the link to her video if you want to see how she does it. This is, I think, a turning loop version 2, she also calls it. But I'll do a couple more here and then I'll show you. You guys are being so patient back there with your beer. I'm impressed. Oop. I yanked the whole thing off my thumb. It's because this yarn is really a little too thick for this. But it made really thick. Here, feel this. What do you think, Anders? That thing is like really thick.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, it's going to make a good wrist warmer, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Depends on how much space I have. But yeah, that's like really thick. I have to make sure I don't make that too tight on my thumb. I have to like just tighten it on my thumb.
A hat with these stitches would be amazing.
You know, you wouldn't think that we'd done that before. Karl's hat is made with that stitch, but he's got a thinner yarn. Except for his is inside out, so if you look on the inside, it's got ridges, and that's why his hat looks a little bit different than that stitch.
Like this. I don't know what stitch you put on this one.
Yeah, show me. Forget the quality, feel the width, says Raymond. Welcome to Innuendo. That was probably the winner of the day. Forget the quality, feel the width. This hat, yeah. I want to say this is Mommin, or maybe it's finished.
This is super warm.
Yeah, this is really, you can see how thick it is too. This wool is, I think, Freeteeds or, no, it's Vams, which is a little bit thinner than this, but it's also 2-ply. But not much, it's pretty close in thickness. Are you counting the innuendos? There, you can see this is where I ended, because I usually make mine from the top down, so. But I think if
I was supposed to bring the wrist warmers you gave me, but one of them had fallen out of my car.
I might have to make you a new one.
Super wet. No, it's.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah, yeah.
Just looking at the back.
But it's wet.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
I actually have enough to make a hat out of that too, but it's 3 yarns put together. You got the orange ones. Or unless you're talking about the blue ones. I think this is Mommin. Just by the way I'm looking at it. I think it goes behind too, but it's hard to see because I finished it off. But because it's so thick, that yarn, that when I used Mommin, which is a 3-loop stitch, it would be, yeah, it's just slightly thinner than this one. But you can see how thick that is with this wool. But yeah, if I tightened it too much, it would be like, so I had to only just tighten it to my thumb. I'll do one more here if I don't get caught up on the thing. So 3 loops, 1, 2, and then the loop behind your thumb looks a bit messed up, but you're picking it up from the right side. If I can see it that way maybe. Yeah. So second loop from behind, twist, pick up the third one on the right side there. And then, if I can, it's hard light. I'm going to keep bitching about the light until everyone's quite clear that I'm not happy with the lighting situation, but I'm too stubborn to go outside. Okay, so then, and then under the first loop and under the leader yarn. And that's Arboga. And then if I just tighten it to my thumb, but not too tight. And it looks like that. First loops are always a little screwy. And then the wrong side looks like a little bit of a ridge. It's for show me.
Normally the phone is very good at picking up the light in
It
here.
is, it's much lighter on here, but because I'm facing the wrong way, if the light was behind me.
Weirdly enough, it might actually get better if I close the door.
No, I tried that. I had to actually open it a little bit because when I closed it in the beginning, it got really, really dark.
This one maybe.
Yeah, we could do that. Let's see. There we go. Maybe that's a bit, okay. Yeah, that's much, much better. Okay, we'll try that one more time for those who can see now. Mainly the person behind the camera with the bad eyes. Meanwhile, I got a message from my eye doctor that it's time for an update on my glasses. Okay, so loop 1, loop 2, Loop 3 looks a little goofy because it's the second one was twisted, so when it becomes the third loop, it looks twisty. But you're grabbing it from this side. Not this side, but this side. That's probably about the only way this will get a little confusing, but if you keep an eye on that, you should be good to go. So second loop from behind, twist, pick up the third loop from the right side, go under the thumb loop, under the leader yarn, and pull through. There. And that's our Arboga. Or 1 plus turned loop, which is this, plus 1. And then you can see it really well. We have done this as a stitch a month at least a couple times before over the last couple of years, but not in a while now. And that's the right side, and the technical wrong side, which has a little bit more ridge. Okay, back to beer. I'm going to keep needle binding.
Yeah,
I don't know how big these reformers will get, but
we stumbled across a really good Norwegian bear a couple of weeks ago. We bought it on tax-free on our way back from England.
oh yeah,
Yedinorogov or something.
Yedinoreg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's named after a Russian shipwreck.
Jade called it a Jedi.
It's
Jedi
12%, so it's fairly strong. But unlike the Danish elephant bear, it doesn't taste like somebody just poured vodka into Lysholmer. It was really good.
It was a stout, wasn't it?
Well, I have.
You couldn't find it though. You looked.
Yeah, I checked the Vinmonopoly in Bergen and I couldn't find it there, but well, it clearly exists, so I can get it somewhere.
I can drink beer until end of May,
End of May we could do this again with you.
and then
if we can get a hold of
June,
it.
July, and August it's no drinking, and then September I'm back.
So why do you have a reason for your strict that's worse than the Catholics when it comes to alcohol.
No, it started with a friend who asked if I would join him for a white year.
A white year.
Yeah, this was in 2019, the first time we did it. And then we did it for a whole year, and we were supposed to do it in 2025.
Yeah.
But he has already been to 4 parties. So the deal is off.
He's cheating.
Yeah, and so I've been patient for 5 months, and then he tell me, sorry, you know, I had to go to this party, and then, it was stupid not to drink. Yeah, it's bullshit. I decided, okay, I'm doing this for you, not for me.
Yeah.
But for myself, I'm actually, but that has to do with work in June, July, and August.
Yeah.
Because I get really sick from alcohol.
Yeah, that's true.
It lasts a week. So me drinking this, I know I will be very sick tomorrow. But
But you had time to plan for it. We gave you some good notice today.
yeah, I had a couple of hours to prepare myself mentally.
Hello.
Hey, come on in. You have to say hi. It's YouTube. Well, you can't just stand there and look like a cool Viking. Blacksmith, but right now you look like a shadow. Come all the way in so we can see what you look like.
I'm looking for Astrid.
You're looking for a what?
Astrid.
Astrid's not. Oh, she was in the break room.
Okay.
Wait, don't move. I'm focusing on you. There we go. Meet Raffel / Magnus from Poland, and you are blacksmithing this year. That's why you have that nice blackened look on your face.
And I make a handle for socks.
Oh,
Did you make that today?
okay, no, we have to
No,
go closer to see.
Yesterday.
It might not. I'm going away from the microphone, but take a look. Ooh. And you're making a handle for it?
Yeah.
I didn't know we put handles on axes in this. Or it is. Good job. Okay, if I was too far away from the microphone, he's making a scramasax. Well, he made a scramasax, and now he's making a handle for it. This is probably the first year. Oops, I'm really zoomed. The first year in a long time, or pretty much ever, that we've had weapons in the shop. I mean, we've had some knives that were made elsewhere that one guy in Drummond made, Viking ones with handles, but
Yeah, you probably shouldn't call them weapons because then they will be then I will go under the murder equipment rule.
look at the
They're
Norwegians
tools.
yelling at the Americans. The tools, I'm sorry, they're tools. Yeah, well, if you have to send them to the United States, they're definitely a tool. But actually, that's not wrong, because the scramasax is really great for filleting fish.
Yeah.
So that's a tool, right?
The United States, I can guarantee you wouldn't give a flying duck.
No, I remember when we had Amazon that if they wanted to order or a whittling knife, we had to make sure it was labeled a tool.
Yeah,
Otherwise it wouldn't get
that's not America, that's Australia or something.
No, that was America.
The Americans' weapon rules are not that strict.
No, it was the import. Maybe it was our export for Amazon.
It's
Yeah?
no problem selling a knife to an American.
No,
And he will
it's
also have no problem getting it home unless he has to have it in his carry-on, in which case, serious problem, do not do it.
So tell me about the Norwegians going to United States with a bunad. A bunad is the traditional folk costume for males, and it's usually including a very nice decorative silver decorated knife.
Yeah, you obviously cannot have it if you don't pack it in your checked luggage. Obviously, you cannot bring it.
No, and they would wear them on their belts, and then I think so. There has been a couple incidents, at least more than one.
I know it would be a hell of a lot more effective to hijack a plane with those than with the carpentry knives that Al Qaeda used the last time around.
Yeah.
So.
But it seems to be we're having a weapons year anyway. I think we've got 4 axes in the shop, and not a weapons year. It's a tool year. We've got 4 axes in the shop.
Yeah.
But those are tools. Those
at
axes.
least in my humble opinion, those axes are clearly tools.
Yeah.
They are too heavy to be used
What is the
effectively as
difference
weapons.
when you get to an axe, and make sure you use the words whoop, whoop. What's the difference between a weapon and a tool when it comes to an axe?
I would say it's mostly weight. When it comes to a tool, you want a lot of kinetic energy when you bring it down, so that the weight of the axe head does some of the work for you if you are chopping wood or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to fighting, you have to be able to change direction at the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So you want something very light. And as long as it's razor sharp, the only circumstance where you actually need kinetic energy in a fight is if you're trying to break bones through a chainmail. And being able to aim for the areas that the chainmail don't cover and kind of somewhat reliably deliver a hit there is more valuable than trying to break bones through it. Because to actually do that, you have to wind up a blow and then come down super hard. You have no chance of changing directions on this blow. And if you get blocked, well then you get killed 6 or 7 times before you get your axe back into action.
And you didn't do whoop, whoop, whoop.
Why would I do whoop, whoop, whoop?
You always have whoop, whoop, whoop on your tour. Whoop, whoop. If you're in a distance at the other end of the village, you can maybe not hear Karl's very well, but one thing you can hear, whoop, whoop. See,
That's
knows what I'm talking about.
a completely different context. That's when I'm talking about what axes look like in movies compared to what they actually would have looked like.
Yeah.
Because when you see a Viking battle axe in a movie, it always has this whoop, whoop,
Oh yeah, now I'm.
Now you know the whoop.
Now I'm ready.
ridiculously big head.
That's why I was talking about we always kind of, wherever you are in the village, when you hear Karl go whoop, we all have to stop and start laughing. Okay. You made an axe, Anders. You don't have it with you though. I should have warned you.
It's wrong to say that I made it, but I modified it.
You modified it, yeah?
Yes.
But recycling is part of the.
Yeah, I
It's
cut.
in now.
It had this shape. It's a beard axe,
Yeah,
but it was going back towards the shaft.
yeah.
And then there was some discussion about if the Viking axes did that or not. And my conclusion after looking through 5,000 different axes is that at least 3 of them had this shape. One from Voss, one from Sigdal, and one from Trøndelag.
Yeah,
So, but it's not its own category. It's a there are 12 different categories of Viking axes,
yeah,
and this falls under some of them.
yeah.
So it's this can happen when you forge the edge. Same with when you forge the edge of a knife. If you don't do it correctly, you will get a banana knife. It will lift up.
A banana knife.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it'll kind of
Yeah. So when you're making the edge and then you bend it, and I have one knife at home that I was so fascinated that I just kept it like this.
Yeah.
And it's like really a banana knife. And
I like the banana knife.
so
That's my new
what
favorite.
I did to the axis is that I just made it straight. So
Yeah.
it looks like a bear axe, but without the going back.
Yeah, because you're talking like on the, was it the Camino knife? If this was a knife, basically the blade would go like this and then like that, but this part that comes at the corner here could kind of start curling
No,
up. Is that the
no.
one you're thinking of? No.
What I'm
Okay.
saying is that when you forge the edge on the knife,
On the knife, yeah?
it will bend up like this. It will.
Oh, okay.
So the one I have at home is bent all the way up like this
Yeah.
because I didn't. You have to compensate to prevent it.
Now you have a really unique tool.
Yeah, I can use it for something. Just
Yeah.
haven't figured out what yet.
Yeah.
So
But it kind of has this strong curve backwards.
yeah,
Yeah. So the banana knife. I like the banana knife.
yeah.
By the way, Nikki's here. She said, "This is love up at 5 a.m. to see you all. Hi." Then I have to do this. Hi, Nikki. I didn't go Viking. I'm horrible. Look at those guys. They're better. And the happy hat and the Arboga. No, sorry. Happy hat, Arboga hat.
Did you see the Dynax I bought from the Polish people last year?
No.
I'll go and get it
Oh,
because
get it.
it has a weird shape. I think it's more of an executioner axe than a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah? By the way, Charlotta says, I like the idea of a nipple hat guy drinking beer. Look, you made him blush.
No, you actually didn't, but
It's the
yeah.
beer. Oh, you have extra beer with you.
What? Yeah, because this is too
We
slow.
only had the one. Yeah, I know. I was gonna say it wasn't a full-on drink fest, but
So I just so I don't have an empty glass.
no, you can't have an extra glass. Just so you know, I did participate in spirit. I downed a cappuccino just before coming out today. So I've had a lot of cappuccino. Ramus says, maybe it was to, oops, wait a minute, yeah, there we go. Maybe it was to Canada. It can be difficult to get a knife delivered there. Yeah, that could have been, actually. It was in 2020, though, when we were doing Amazon. We were doing online private guiding in 2021 and 2020. I think up to 2022. We did Hago, Discovery, Amazon, but all that kind of died out now with people being able to travel, of course. But I kind of miss doing it a bit. We still do it from time to time, but it's a bit of a thing to set it up, and then we do it over Zoom. Let's see, there were some more comments in here. It would make it a 3-step stitch if you take the oldest loop from the left side as it unturns that stitch. Ah, okay. That was PJ says I have to rewatch. Oh, PJ was here, by the way. I have to rewatch the video later. I'm in the middle of a row at the moment, and I don't want to switch the stitch until I get to the end of the row. This is a textile problem. Okay, while Carl's out there, I'll show one more. Yeah, now we can see this light is okay. I left the door open a crack. So we can hold it up here. So, no, I gotta point it down. There we go. 3 loops from behind. You got loop 1, loop 2, and then loop 3. So you're gonna pick it up on. It kind of looks like 2 because of the way it's been turned around. So, but you're picking it up on the right side of this one to get this stitch. But you can see I actually picked out a few stitches because it was getting too tight. I have to force myself to do it looser because I'm using such a thick yarn. But there you go. So the second loop is taken from behind, twisted, and then you pick up that third loop. If you can see it there, it looks like 2 bumps, but you're picking it up from the right. And then under the thumb and under the working yarn. And to do these, to show you how thick this stitch is, and I mean, it's not the thickest stitch, but it is a thick stitch when you use thick yarn. It's so,
So it
I used
curves
36 to
enormously
around the
backwards.
Yeah.
oh my God, let's
And
see.
it's very
Okay,
heavy.
if Karl came back into range. Look at that thing.
Yeah, this is kind of heavy,
That's a big bearded axe.
but it's
Is that the one Teddy made last year here? Or where did
Yeah.
you get that one from? One of the Polish
it is
blacksmiths.
it's fairly heavy, but it is not the worst.
That's kind of quite a severe beard. That's
Yeah,
what you call the beard
and
of the axe, yeah.
The thing is that the ones that have this, they kind of how to show this.
Yeah.
It is they come down and you can see it here that they have this backward going loop. Not as bad as this. Like this, I haven't seen this shape. I have seen it, but then it's been more straight.
Yeah, I see some that were straight, and it was a tool of some sort.
So,
These we don't have in the
I
shop
would
yet.
say that the design very much looks like a medieval executioner's axe.
yeah.
And if that's
You
Teddy
have
that's made,
this
then
is
that would be a simple
it's
one.
similar to the Trøndelag type, I think, which has this thin part up here and the beard going down. But
That's a bearded axe, yeah. Nobody
as
was
I say, if I look through more axes, I might find it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
with the same with knives. Out of the 5,300 knives I looked through,
Yeah.
they were all different.
So what is
So-
the benefit of having a beard on an axe for those who don't know?
Well, you have a hook. That's for a fighting axe. That's the most important thing. But on this particular axe, the hook doesn't really work, because even if I get this over somebody's shield, I don't have enough of a grip to actually pull their shield down.
No?
And
Is it because the beard is too long?
it's because the beard curves backwards.
Ah, like and the one you have
If
doesn't.
this
so-
ended in more of a spike, then yes, but
And
it
you're
doesn't.
correct, this is
So
more medieval. When it turns back, that
Yeah.
is they transitioned to more that shape
yeah,
after Viking Age.
and I can stab with it a little bit, but what
Yeah,
this
that's
would be really, really good for, if I have somebody kneeling in front of me and presenting their neck, I'm pretty sure I could decapitate them in one stroke with this.
Decapitate. No, that's an executioner's axe. There you go. We have a new answer for it. No, I think that's definitely thicker than your neck. For me, you'd need a couple of them thicker.
I have
A
a
couple of
photo of the axe that was used to cut the head of my great grandfather.
Oh, there's a story there. And Rentals is Poland.
Yeah, they actually had a episode about him on that pod.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Ah, I have it. Okay.
so I have a photo of the axe that they used.
Yeah.
He was one of the most famous counterfeiters in Norway.
Okay.
He was, and he was pardoned by the king 3 times, but the 4th time the king had enough, so they decided to cut his head off.
Yeah.
And then he was buried outside the cemetery because he was going straight to hell for his sins. So,
I was going to say, what does it take to get your head chopped off in 1700s in Norway, 1780?
yeah, if you
The fourth time you're
if you
laughing.
counterfeit money, and even when he was strapped to a log in the prison, he managed to counterfeit money.
Yeah.
So he never gave up.
No, you're kind of.
And then when
I'm kind of proud of him.
he was given a tool by a guy, and he managed to break out of prison, and then he made a lot of money, and he was traveling. He was in Sweden and traveling Norway, and just exchanging. He made big bills, and he exchanged them to smaller bills, so he got
Yeah.
proper money, and that's how he financed it.
So there's a couple of puns going on, by the way. May the 4th be with you. And then PJ says, well, that's because May 4th is coming up, and
We
Nikki
get
was
it.
watching Star Wars. Let's see. To quote, says PJ, an old poem, it's had a new handle and perhaps a new head, but it's the real old original axe. I like that.
That's my father's axe story.
Yeah?
The head has broken many times and I've replaced it. The handle has broken many times and I've replaced it, but it's still my father's axe.
Oh, I like that. And then Novia said, by the way, she was watching, she and Roger watched Forged in Fire. Have you seen that? It's a documentary about, yeah, that's actually pretty good, but was it just,
It's like a competition.
oh, no, that one? Okay, no, I was thinking of something completely different, but you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a blacksmithing competition, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah, a bit like the glass blowing one, but with blacksmithing.
Do you remember a couple of years ago when we kept having customers that were looking for a particular guided tour with a particular guide that just didn't exist?
No.
The name of that guide was one of the guys in Forged in Fire.
Oh, that's too bad that we missed out on that opportunity.
It's not an opportunity, it's a scam. Somebody was selling a product that didn't really exist.
Oh, okay.
If that guy actually had the guided tour here, that would probably be good for us. But
No, I
it
was
was
thinking
just
the
a
other way around,
product that
yeah.
somebody was selling that didn't actually exist.
That they were looking to participate in that. I mean, not to, yeah.
No, that would be great, but that wasn't the case. So we get confused customers that are looking for the big feast and the tour with what's his face, Jeremy something.
Oh, that's right. I remember there was somebody that was selling. Is that the same way you think of somebody that was selling tickets and food and everything at dinner to the village here, and then there was actually nothing that was affiliated with us whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. Yeah, I forgot about that.
No, I had those guys twice. I had people who came looking for that particular service, and I just sat down with them and helped them write a complaint.
Yeah, good idea.
That's about as much as I can do.
Yeah. And then we had, of course, reported so that less people would be scammed by it. Raymond says, I am unevacuated. Yes, there have been a few more fires, thankfully not too close. Oh, Nikki was asking, are you back and unevacuated? I didn't realize there was more fires in there. I have to watch the news. This is Australia, by the way.
Yeah.
Raymond says, the axe is a ship of Theseus. So tell me, okay, so we're going to learn a new word in Norwegian. Henrettelsespodden. How do you say that? Or no, henrettelse. Not podden.
It would be the execution podcast.
Execution podcast, but henrettelse, what does that mean?
Henrettelses.
Thank you. Somebody has to speak
Yeah.
correctly.
Podcasten.
Not the podcast, but henrettelses. What is henrettelse?
Henrettelse.
Execution.
Execution.
Execution. Okay. And
Because the funny thing, you probably have that in many countries, but we stopped executing people in the early 1800s. Somewhere?
I was reading about this the other day. You see the.
Well, we did have some executions in 45 and 46, but that was different circumstances.
okay.
The axe that was used on my ancestor was given to the new executioner in 1834,
Yeah.
and then he beheaded. There was one execution in Fresvik, not long from here.
Yeah.
He used it in Lærdal, and I think that he he executed like 40 people with that axe.
Holy cow.
So, but I can't remember when they stopped it, but I would have to read up again. It's
I know there is a farm outside of Sogndal called Meisterplass.
yeah.
It's the farm given to the executioner.
Yeah.
So instead of paying the guy, you give him a farm. Executioners and so-called nightmen,
Yeah.
that's the people who deal with human refuse. They're considered untouchable, and they can basically just marry each other. Nobody else wants to literally touch them. So it's a well-paid position, but everybody hates you, and you get a farm.
Yeah. Okay.
His descendants live in Sogndal today.
So the other thing is too, I don't know why in the hell we're way out of the Viking Agent into Henrettelsspodden, the podcast, but it was really a good podcast that I sat and listened to when I was driving back and forth. It is in Norwegian, by the way. And that guy, one of the guys on The Expert or something, has a wonderful, it's like listening to Grandpa, but he also kind of puts me to sleep because his voice is very soothing. And he has a fun way of mentioning certain things to make it seem like it was much more light and fun than things actually were. But what were the methods? Were they only execution or beheading or what?
No, they had a sword as well, but they had to stop using the sword because they were not able to do it with one strike. That was the problem with the
That's
sword.
right.
They kept on chopping and chopping and chopping, and they just couldn't get the head off. So they decided to lay off the sword and go with the axe,
And go
because
with
then
the
you
axe.
could get one clean strike.
One clean strike? I
And
forgot about that with the sword.
in Norway, I think at least for the last part of executions, they're all done by axe.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I know that there was a thing in England that nobles should be executed by the sword.
Yeah.
But then again, you have the same problem. A sword is more difficult to actually execute somebody with.
Yeah, because you'd have the node of the blade. It has to be sharp and precise.
It's the point of balance thing.
Oh.
You have to hit with the node, obviously.
Yeah.
But a sword is very light compared to an axe.
Okay.
And you have to have like a perfect stroke. Was it Mary Queen of Scots that it took 3 strokes, which was extremely incompetent for an execution that important.
Yeah. Oh, poor Mary. Well, I think just being executed. But did they ever do hanging? Because I think hanging was a thing in, well, the Old West.
Hanging,
United States, but,
I don't think we did it.
Get a rope.
If we did it in Norway, it's very long ago.
I haven't heard about any hangings. Better to chop the head off.
Yeah, I would think so. Hey.
Yep.
She was saying, how do you say, okay, so I'll see how you guys say this one. How do you say stitch of the month in Norwegian?
Månadens sting.
That's what I would have said, but you sounded very Swedish when you said it.
I'm trying to do bokmål.
Bokmål, Oslo dialect.
Månens sting.
Månens sting, yeah.
Månens sting. It's actually not something I would say.
No, I would say månens sting, but sting.
It's an expression that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
So I
no.
would have to make it up.
Yeah.
Nobody says that.
No, nobody did. Well, stitch of the month is like a modern term. It's a hashtag
Yeah, so
kind of thing.
I haven't heard about it before.
Yeah.
But
In
you
Norwegian.
can basically have anything that is of the month. You can have pig of the month if you like.
Oh, and then here I'm. Here, Raymond's answering the question correctly in text, and I'm getting it all wrong. Nikki says, no. The actual stitch, Arboga. But Arboga is not Swedish. I'm
It
assuming
sounds
it's a
like a
city.
place name in Sweden, but I'm not very up to date on Swedish
The name
geography.
on the
So.
video is much different. Yeah, the name on the video I think is turning stitch version 2, but then she writes Arboga in parentheses. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's most of the stitch name. The stitches that have names, most of them are based on cities or have cities or areas where a find was made.
Geographical locations, not necessarily cities. I don't think Arboga is a city, for instance.
No, that I'm not so sure actually, but I'm pretty sure it's Swedish. If it,
Yeah.
It sounds very Swedish.
Very Swedish, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say Arboga. If you guys were Swedish, what would you call it? I'm totally insulting the Norwegians by making them speak Swedish.
I'm not sure if I would be able to formulate words if I was Swedish.
You're such an ass.
Well, the thing is that my dialect and Karl's dialect
Sonda.
are
I just insulted Karl. Clarify quick before he...
He's from Sunnfjord.
yeah.
I'm from
So
Nordfjord.
you managed to insult
And
both of us.
Sogndal is in Sogn.
Yeah, but
So-
my dialect and his
Maybe I did
dialect
on
is
purpose.
actually more similar than our dialects compared to the dialect here.
Yeah, you're Flora.
No.
Nej, fan!
Now I'm missing the point. Because,
Sorry. Continue, I'll shut up now.
no, it's gone. Sorry.
What was the point, Karl? In your dialect, pronouncing the word Arboga. Yeah? Was that it? In your
No,
dialect?
no,
Yeah, like
we-
Sunnmøre.
Oh, now I remember.
Seriously, Sunnmøre?
No, that is.
You are
that's even
no,
greater
you're
insult.
actively trying to insult me. I'm sure about it.
Yeah. No, our dialect is.
I started a civil war.
It's easier for Swedish people to understand me and Karl than it is to understand a person from Oslo.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
saying that earlier,
Yeah.
because I had a hard time understanding Oslo when I had 3 years of Swedish before coming to Norway.
And the funny thing is that every foreigner coming to Norway is they teach them that kind of dialect.
Yeah, they teach them all
This,
like bokmål unless you're in
Eastern
Bergen.
dialect, and it's
Bergen.
very hard to understand. For if you learn my dialect
Yeah.
or Karl's dialect, even the Swedish and Danish will understand you.
The Danish too? I
Yes.
would have thought Danish would be
If you
closer to
talk
bokmål.
slowly, when I speak slowly to a Danish person, he can understand me.
Yeah.
But
Can you understand the Dane?
yes.
You're probably one of the few people in the world that can understand the Dane.
Well, no. It's a practice. You have to get a friend to put a lot of potatoes in his mouth, and then after some time you start to pick out the words, and that's how you learn Danish.
Okay, but how do you explain the Danish counting system? We are all over the place today.
I've never understood it.
The Danish counting system is like the French counting system that they are operating with a base of 20 instead of base of 10.
Yes. So
So-
Halbjards is what?
A halvfjerds would be
Translates to half fourths.
not entirely 60, which means 50. So if they say 3 halvfjerds, they mean 53. You have to calculate it, that's the thing, because everybody else will just tell you the number, but the fucking Danish wants you to do math every time.
Novia says, would you compare, okay, now she says chubby bunny dialect. So yes, would you, which is more easier to understand, the chubby bunny dialect or the Danish dialect? Now, chubby bunny, for those who don't understand, is when you stuff as many marshmallows in your mouth and try to speak. You have to say chubby bunny.
It sounds like the difference is softness. So it would be a soft Danish dialect, and
Yeah,
I get this disgusting feeling. So no, I don't think I would understand it.
No?
I have a suspicion that if the person with all the marshmallows in his mouth had a workable tongue, it would be more understandable than Danish.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to
he might be
paralyze
right.
the tongue too to get it to be.
Chubby bunny with a workable tongue is better than paralyzed Danish tongues?
Yes,
Okay.
generally yes.
If I'm getting that right. There's some more chat in here. I gotta catch up because I think we're just insulting people now.
Yeah. Sorry about
No,
that.
no, it's me that's insulting.
I try to insult at least one nation.
More.
But just to, I've done this on YouTube before, but I can do it again. Just to illustrate the difference between Sunnmøre, where you think I'm from, and Nordfjord, where I'm actually from.
Yeah.
The sentence, I don't have any, but she has,
Yeah.
in my dialect is, jeg har ikke, men hun har.
Okay.
Move 8 kilometers north, now you're in Sunnmøre, and the same sentence becomes, I hate you, men who he, who he, who. There is a difference.
It's a big difference.
Okay, but in the Duolingo, and I was trying my Danish just to see how I was doing, by the way, which was fine until I had to spell, because I kept trying to spell things with in the Norwegian way. But there was the sheep has a lining, I think it is. What it was like four. You know this one? Anders says.
No,
look at his face.
I'm
It's like
just thinking
four,
about
four,
what he
four.
said.
No. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's fascinating because continue.
Okay.
I'm
How do you
sorry.
say sheep?
So,
Okay, but if you're gonna do like the other word for sheep, får.
so,
What's the difference between a
Får.
sow and a får?
for nothing. It's the
A
same
with
animal.
a circle over R. A with a circle over an R. Yeah.
But for, I use basically when I talk about the sheep as a food.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah, we use it at Easter, isn't it?
You have fårepølse,
Fårepølse,
the
yeah.
sheep sausage.
Yeah.
You have fårikål,
Fårikål,
the
which
cabbage sheep thing. But if you see the animal, it's a sow.
It's a pig. I mean, a pig
Yeah.
is a sheep. A sow.
Yeah, no,
Speaking of sow, actually, let's see if they're outside here. We should be right next. Oh, there they are. That's about all you get to see of them. Okay, let me see. I'll read some more chat here. Hey, come on in.
Hey!
Hello.
Estrid is here.
Hola! Hello, how are you?
hello.
You're not Viking, but neither am I. I'm horrible today. Look at us here in the
I'm
back.
not drinking today.
It's Estrid.
Hello!
She's working in the show.
Greetings!
You got TikTok.
Oh, hi!
What's
Hi,
your TikTok? No,
everybody.
this is the YouTube. But what's your TikTok? You started on
Oh, Estrid, the shield maiden.
Estrid the Shield Maiden. It's
Yes.
E-S-T-R-I-D, not
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So
Yeah.
check out, there's more videos from Gudvangen and this amazing village.
You had
Yes.
some fun ones too.
Yes?
Yeah. So she does Gudvangen clips with a smile on her face instead of this one. You have to have a
I
smile
see
on your
you.
face. See you.
She is so new that she is
She's
still
working in the shop, but
optimistic.
she's also a fighter. She's so
Yeah,
new
that
that
is-
she's what?
Still optimistic.
She's still optimistic. There, I'll shut the door again a little bit. We actually don't have too much time left, so I should catch up. It's just me in the dark, Nikki, laugh out loud. Let's see. Karl's beard looks very good in the firelight.
Yeah, no,
Could you stroke that beard for our viewers?
believe it or not, but this is the second time today an American lady has asked me to do that. But okay.
Slower.
That's what she said too.
What did I sign up for?
Meanwhile, I'm not the one drinking.
Come down to Gudvangen, have a drink with us.
Anders,
Karl, stroke his beard.
could you stroke your beard first, please?
I don't do the
Get a
beard.
good handful in there.
The thing is that I have to use 2 hands, and I just correct the sides,
Yeah.
and then I automatically take my mustache.
And the mustache, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, tips for good beard grooming. Do you have any?
Well, I have to admit,
Do I look like I have any?
No, you
no,
don't.
but
You just get a-
I actually have a product
You
that I
do,
use. Yeah. And it's called snake balm.
snake balm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the one that you make, or?
No.
no.
And the only reason why I chose it was that I used to watch Western movies when I was a kid, and it was so funny with these guys, Dr. Snake Oil. And that's the association I got to this beard product. You know snake oil? Dr.
Snake
Snake
oil.
Oil?
Yeah, but you have to explain snake oil. Not everybody knows that concept.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
it's, well, we have it today as well in today's society.
Yeah.
When a person tries to convince you that this product will save your life, you just pay me a couple of thousand and then you eat this and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
And basically it's just sugar water or
I think that was in Mary.
mud water or whatever.
Mary Poppins, I think. Or no, Pete's Dragon. I think they had a snake oil salesman.
Yeah,
You're old
but
enough to
in
remember Pete's
every
Dragon.
old Western you had Dr. Snake Oil. He has his carriage and he's selling all
Yeah.
these remedies that will cure you. So when
So,
I
okay,
saw
now we
the
know what snake oil is, yeah?
when I saw the snake balm, it's yes, perfect. I want it.
Yeah.
So
Oh no, you guys aren't. Okay, so some people might be into your beers, but okay. Nikki says, I don't normally like beers. I watch Pirates of the Caribbean, and that put me off beards for the life, thanks to David Jones. But his beard has tentacles.
Yeah.
So I
Is
can,
it
I can see.
Bear or beards?
His
Beards.
beard, yeah, I was thinking it sounded like beer when I said it too. Outer doesn't like beards. She's laughing. Nikki says Karl would look like a kid without one. Oh my God, no, you can never remove that beard.
I don't know what I would look like now, but
Saw
the
a
last
picture on
time
your,
I was
Card is old.
the last time I was completely shaven, I had to show ID to buy beer.
Really?
that is what happens to me as well.
You too?
Take off the beard. You have
Yeah.
to show idea if you want to buy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta have a beard. Why do you think Vikings are best known for having beards? Is there truth to
I
this?
don't think they actually had beard all the time, but when you're out traveling,
Yeah?
it's just this thing that you don't do. You don't shave.
No.
And in the winter, it's actually isolating your face.
See, the same is true for women and legs. Just
It's
No, I don't.
it's also it's also
That's a hairy
basically
leg.
a matter of fashion. Just
Sorry.
we live up here,
Yeah.
so it actually does give some warmth. So there is a little bit more of a bias towards bear among Vikings than it would be among, for instance, Romans.
Yeah.
But the Romans used being clean-shaven to be like a distinguishing factor between them and the barbarians.
Yeah.
We shave our face. The barbarians, the dirty barbarians, don't.
Yeah.
But then you have Emperor Hadrian, who has a full beard, and after that it became fashion. So you would see that busts and statues of Romans after Hadrian very often have a full beard.
Is that?
Didn't know that.
I have always believed that it was because they liked young boys, the Roman men, and they wanted to look like a young boy themselves.
Might be part of it. They are very, very influenced by the Greeks, who definitely swing in that direction. So
Okay, who are we not insulting? No, seriously, Karl has insults like half the world every episode.
do you have any Greek subscribers?
The YouTube channel, Roger says, can also have the description beards, beers, and babes. The babe. Guys, I have to fix my tooth yet. They were asking, by the way, what time the sun sets around here. It's still quite bright out, but the sun has set, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Take a look
it's
real
set
quick,
at about 10 minutes past 5.
Yeah. And it's now probably about 7:30. Okay, once it gets you adjusted.
It's just behind the mountains, so it's not...
On the right there, you can see where it's getting brighter. The Greeks Rudisby? Let's see. Okay. Oh, you know what? Isak's going to be looking for us in not too long a time to drive too, so we should probably wrap up a little bit. Jealous. Hi, Rudisby, says Mickey. Yeah, Rudisby snuck in the door here. Nella says it would be interesting to know the hairiness genes are divided in European population. It would be interesting to know the hairiness genes are divided in the European population. I have no idea.
I think all the Europeans have the potential to be hairy if they don't shave.
Well, I suppose, yeah, but you've got a more long beard that's kind of thinner, and he's got a more fuller. But
no, it's we have quite similar beard actually, but it is.
But his grows more on his chin, whereas yours grows fully.
I just took a DNA test.
Did you? Yes.
Yeah, and me being so Norwegian that I am, with a very thin beard, and I didn't shave until I was when I was in the Navy. I never shaved. I didn't have to because I didn't have any beard.
No.
And I started forcing my beard out by shaving when I was 27, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. And it is, but I have friends that are just as Norwegian as me. They have a full beard.
Yeah.
It's like, look at Georg, for example.
Georg's got a very full beard. That's
His daughter is more. His daughter is 98% Norwegian.
Yeah.
Which makes Georg most likely 99% Norwegian, and he has a
He has
big
a very
beard.
full beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Meanwhile, we have one guy here who has a really hard time growing a beard. The best he could do is like a little mustache and a little soul patch.
I actually should take one of those DNA tests.
but he's not.
Yeah,
But he's of a different breed.
Is he? Okay. I thought, well, he's Norway, but he's from the east part Norway.
No.
Because there
I
is
will not go into
I like
this.
no,
I'm
we don't have
sorry.
to go too far. But anyway, you knew what I meant. Anyway,
there is a very persistent
But he's
rumor
British.
going around where I'm from.
Yeah.
Back when the Spanish Armada basically lost the war against meteorology, what happened was they were trying to invade England. They got blown all over the place. So what little was left of it got completely demolished by the British Navy, but most of it was just spread all over the place. Yeah. And one of the ships apparently ended up somewhere close to Selja.
Yeah.
And remember, this is back in the 17-somethings. So they had no chance in hell of getting back to Spain, like ever. So they just settled in Selja, grew old and died.
Yeah.
According to the church books, none of them married anybody. But mysteriously, a lot of people had like a little bit darker complexion after this.
Yeah.
So I want to take a Spanish test
You
to
want to
find
take a
out
Spanish
if I have any genes. No, I want to take.
To find out if you have any genes.
I want to find out if I have any Spanish blood.
Yeah.
The
bet you
DNA
probably
test that
do.
I took, I was very unfortunate. I was only 96% Norwegian.
Yeah.
A big.
I have no. I
Big
don't know. I have
shame.
an adoption further behind the line there, but the only family I really know is the Polish family. I know I have some German roots, but
Yeah.
the Polish family is the one that I know. But yeah, with blonde hair, blue eyes, somebody said should take a test anyway. But there is an adoption, like 4 generations back on my dad's side, and the name Bassett was my original name, my maiden name, and that is, but that's the adopted name,
Yeah.
Bassett.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. That's obviously not German or Polish. So
But
it's interesting.
the thing is, and I know I'm good at insulting countries here, but whatever I turn out to be, I will find something to be proud of, no matter what it is. And just to take the Spanish as an example,
Yeah.
they basically was the bulwark against the Moor invasion for like 600 years.
Yeah.
So the reason that Europe is European and not more is mostly the Spanish.
Yeah. And by the way, Anders, before your hair became more established in color, what color did you have before? 'Cause
Blonde.
You were blonde. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was gonna say, but then
You
Karl,
can
on the other
you can
hand,
still
was
see it
dark.
in my mustache.
Yeah, I do actually remember you
Yeah.
having a dark blonde.
Yeah.
Like mine
It was
darker, but
light blonde when I was young, and
Yeah.
then it became gradually darker.
mine was really light when it was young, but when I got young, but then I, played in the shadows for the last 30 years. So but Karl, on the other hand, you have always had that really dark hair. Not black, but very dark brown.
Well, always is a strong word. I can show you pictures of me when I was like this tall.
Sorry.
Then I'm blonde.
Were you completely blonde? I thought it was just lighter brown, but
You will see pictures of me trying to walk an Afghan hound when I am like 5 years old.
oh, okay. I think the youngest I've probably seen is you're about that age. A school photo though.
No, I didn't go to school when I was 5 years old.
That's
So,
a good point. Okay, I'm done. Anyway.
but there is a picture of me when I'm very young, when I'm walking an Afghan hound that is taller than me,
Yeah.
and I'm blonde. I'm completely blonde.
Huh. We have a bit of additions in here. Africa represented in here as well. They're talking about different backgrounds that they have in here. Some 51% Celtic, 41% Scandinavian, 7% Greek, and a smidgen of Nigerian, says PJ, and that's where Africa is getting represented. Nella says, in most cases, the British have, Aldrich gives a tip. That's more beer for you guys. Thank you. Have a percentage of African is based on ancestor who has a side piece in an African harbor. I gotta read that again. Well, in most cases, says Nella, the British having a small percentage of African is based on ancestors who had a side piece in African harbor. Oh, okay, that's interesting. It says, let's celebrate their 10th super on live stream. Outer really likes us, by the way. We have got to get this membership thing up and going. Anyway, so she pretty much donated a beer to you guys, so we'll have to get that one next week too.
Yep. Thank you,
can
Adra.
come back, by the way, because I'm expecting Isak to
but
be
what-
looking for us in a minute.
When it comes to the DNA thing, what really blows my mind is
Yeah.
that Tuffe turns out to be 5% Native American.
And he's Norwegian.
How in the hell?
I know, and he looks extreme. Okay, if you know Tuffe. No, but he he's got like this blonde hair and blue eyes. He looks pretty Scandinavian.
He looks like if Harley Davidson was reborn as a person.
Yeah. Yes. Well, yeah. Now, I'm pretty sure he didn't look like that when he was young, but I know he's been riding around on motorcycles since.
With those short legs, he has no choice.
Well, okay. Now, when you say short, that's because you're in the land of the giants here. So, by American standards, he'd be about average, maybe. I think.
Average for a biker, maybe?
Well, he's taller than me. Okay.
I think I was 1% British.
Let me just see if they're out there. 1% British?
Yeah, 1.4% Irish, and 2.6% Scottish.
Scottish.
And
Robert
then
is from
96%
Scotland.
Norwegian. But the thing is that, so there might have been something going on 1,000 years ago. I don't
Might have
know.
been something going on. Yeah.
Sounds like something I say multiple times a day.
Okay.
And here, in the western part of Norway, they were mostly from the northern England, Ireland, and Scotland, talking about trells.
Yeah. Yeah. But then we know we also have Native American that made it over here. Then there's the red hair gene. Did that originate in the Viking Age or?
No,
Did that-
I don't think that is a Scottish thing.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that quite early on, they used the Scots as runners.
Yeah.
They would take them, bring them with them on travels, put them ashore, and they would run. While the boat was sailing, they would run on land.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they would pick them up again. This is because they were great runners.
Okay.
And they were known for it. So they would look at the land while the Viking boat was, because it's a boat.
Yeah.
So they were sailing down the coast, and the Scottish guy had to run.
Too bad they didn't make it to Kenya, man. Those guys are really good. They're winning marathons left and right in the United States.
Also,
There.
the Vikings are boat people. They've been boat people for a long time before the Viking Age. So the existence of England, Scotland, and Ireland wasn't like a surprise to them.
Let's see your glass. Sorry, they wanted to see your glass. This is another claw beaker, by the way. It might be focusing more on humans than the glass right now, but but it's a little bit different than Karl's claw beaker. This is skinnier and taller. And then of course the talons aren't decorated. These are like made like more like drips.
Do you know which find this is from?
Can't remember. We were looking at, me and you, Karin, we were looking at these
Yeah.
glasses
Oh,
7 months ago.
probably, yeah, because we were looking at,
And I've known it so many times, but I keep on. The thing is, I'm filling up my head now with knowledge about jewelry
yes.
and trying to memorize 97,000 finds from the West Coast has kind of brought my head to a standstill. So, and every
Yeah.
time people ask me, what can you tell me about this? And I say, 1 second, and then. I'm all confused in my head because it's so much information at the moment that I can't process it all.
By the way, Raymond is on. Raymond, this is the one who recognized the bunny pendant and had one. So we bought one from him and sent it off, and then we got one as well. Nolby had a question, by the way, and I kind of agree with her too. I didn't know that one either. What was the purpose of making the Scots run along the shore? Were they cartographers?
This is to see if there is people there or something of interest.
Anything
Yeah.
worth
Or
stealing?
good land.
Ah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought of that. Looking for the file. What bunny? Raymond posted a picture on his Facebook page, but it was Volin. It was a find in
From Volin, yeah.
But I didn't realize they would have a Viking bunny, but it was quite cool. It takes a little bit of imagination to see that there's these long ears in the background, but
It's quite clearly a
It's
bunny.
clearly a bunny.
well, if you
It's-
flattened it and
yeah,
but
but
when we were in England, so
every
about
piece of
Or
jewelry
even
is a
bunny sitting
two-dimensional
there in
representation.
profile, you see it quite easily.
Okay, so what was their obsession with bunnies so much in Volin that they had to make a pendant?
Well,
It's
the thing with Volin, you don't know where it is from.
Yeah.
It's like my belt
yeah,
that I have on, and not this is a Birke pouch, but my belt is found in the harbor of Volin,
yeah,
and it's a bit different on here you see, but this is most likely from a Norwegian, Danish, or Swedish Viking
yeah.
that has maybe been killed in the harbor since it
Yeah.
was found.
The Volin is currently basically among the reenactment world. It's the Viking supermarket of Europe.
Well, it was the site of
It was just there.
Jomsborg back in the Viking Age.
Yeah.
So it was kind of an important place.
So the Jomsviking was probably from there. There's an Isak. You ready?
Oh.
Yeah. You gotta join us for beer next time, but you can't drink beer because you're driving this home. This
sadly.
is. We never made it out into the village. Yes. Okay. So now, we were talking about beards here. That fits perfectly, by the way.
Yeah, I need to do this also.
So Isak is also he's guiding, and he's fighting, but he's also blacksmithing for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was even black today
Yeah.
for blacksmithing
Then he took a shower.
with black water after.
Oh, that's good. But you have to join us next week too if you want. We can kill each other too. Well,
Yeah.
not me. I'm gonna just
Yeah,
watch.
you do it every week.
Yeah, every week. Well, right now it's every Saturday at 6:30 Norway time. But sometimes we're on a Friday or a Sunday. But we try to keep it as consistent as long as possible.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
give me a sign because
Yeah.
then I will
You
plan
just
that.
can't have the beer until after you drive us home. Then you can have a beer. We can give you a fake beer.
That's a fake.
Okay, that's sacrilege in the Viking world, apparently.
But it's sacrilege in every world.
But what it means fake beer? Rubber bottle? Or?
No alcohol. Alcohol free, but anyway, then I'm gonna turn this around so that we're in mirror mode here. Ta-da! We gotta go. So, are you gonna come play with us next week, or no? End of May you can drink.
No, next Saturday it's a family gathering thing.
Yeah. Now the 17th of May is coming up too. That's the. Actually, I didn't even think about that. When the date is today? No, we're still ahead of the 17th of May. That's a Constitution Day in Norway, so that would be
Now
another day.
it looks like I will not be. If I have, if I'm going to join, it will be in the end of May.
Yeah, end of May. Okay, then we'll get you a beer. And then Karl will be here, and then we're gonna get you in there too. You don't have to be Viking, but it's always more fun with Viking.
I will.
Says the girl who didn't
Here
want
I'm Viking.
Okay, but then we should say goodbye because he's waiting to drive us home. And we only got one beer.
With
to
real
drive.
Viking car.
With a real
Volvo.
Viking car, a Volvo. Okay, see you guys next Saturday
Bye-bye.
at 6:30.